WWE stars to be stripped of title, new Judgment Day member, Becky Lynch dethroned, 4 things that could happen on Raw before Night of Champions. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Have a nice day. For WWE family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Tonight's episode of WWE Raw will serve as the go-home show for the Night of Champions 2025 Premium Live event. The show already appears to be stacked, as multiple things have already been announced by the Stamford-based promotion. Additionally, the semifinals of King and Queen of the Ring 2025 are set to unfold. In this article, we will discuss 4 things that could happen on Raw. Before the Saudi Arabia show, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Last week, Liv unfortunately suffered a shoulder injury and is expected to be sidelined for 6 months. As a result, there is a possibility that the Judgment Day members might be stripped of the tag team titles. This could further lead to new champions being crowned through a tournament. Roxanne Perez will face Jade Cargill in the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. The winner of this bout will lock horns against Asuka at Night of Champions 2025. The Storm is expected to emerge as the victor in this match. If this scenario unfolds, Roxanne might officially join the Judgment Day. Morgan is already out of WWE due to injury, giving a perfect time for the company to incorporate Perez into the villainous faction. Becky Lynch's Women's Intercontinental Championship will be at stake as the man will defend the title against Bayley. The Irish star attacked the role model at WrestleMania 41 and took her out. Later, Becky turned heel on Raw after Mania and affirmed herself as the attacker. To bring a surprise twist to the rivalry between Bayley and Lynch, the former damaged CTRL leader may dethrone Becky Lynch and become the new champion. This would help WWE extend the feud between these two veterans and further incorporate Lara Valkyria into the story. Nikki Bella was previously expected to face Liv Morgan at Evolution 2. However, following the real-life injury of the Judgment Day member, plans are likely to change drastically. To set up a new feud for the Hall of Famer, WWE might plant seeds in tonight's Raw. This could happen when the Fearless One issues an open challenge for Evolution 2025. A heel star may confront Nikki, establishing a rivalry for the all-women's show. Liv Morgan suffered an unfortunate shoulder injury last week on Raw in a match with Kairi Sane. This will reportedly keep her sidelined for around 3 months, putting her in-ring return at the end of the summer. While most injured stars are kept off TV, this hasn't been the case in some instances. Bianca Belair appeared on SmackDown in her hometown of Nashville despite having a broken finger. Rey Mysterio appeared at Worlds Collide. Conversely, Ilja Dragunov hasn't been seen on TV after injuring his ACL last year, same as with Apollo Crews and Kiana James. If Morgan appears on the next episode of Raw, she can do any of the next 5 things. If Liv Morgan appears on Raw a week after suffering her shoulder injury, one easy thing she could do is wish well in his match against AJ Styles at Night of Champions. This would require no physical activity and keep her on screen, while also keeping up with her Judgment Day requirements. If bookers decide to extend her appearance to other things, then she could possibly do more. Since her main focus in the group has been winning titles and Dirty Dom hoping for the best for her paramour ahead of a huge match, seems like something easy to do for the injured Morgan. Holding the WWE Women's Tag Team titles has created a huge problem for Morgan and the rest of the division. Since winning the titles on Raw after WrestleMania, Morgan and Rodriguez have not defended the titles even once on the main roster. That's nearly 2 months of inaction for a championship, something that would have been rectified in years past. Now that she's officially out injured, she could hand her title over to Roxanne Perez. Perez has been essentially interning for the group at the urging of Finn Balor. This would give Roxanne direction as well as provide Morgan an easy goal to strive for when she's healthy. It would also keep the belts in the faction. One drastic thing Liv Morgan could do if she appears on Raw is to quit the Judgment Day. It would seem out of character since she's reveled in the chaos the group causes since joining them last year. The injury, however, could force her to reevaluate how she's acted, and she may see the error of her ways. Quitting the group would also write her off TV. Leaving the Judgment Day would also potentially set up a spot for another person to join the group since Carlito was released. Perez's joining may make sense, but Rodriguez may want someone else. When stars are ready to take time off for an injury, WWE typically writes them off via random backstage attacks. Since there has been tension between Morgan and Perez, they could do this by having the Prodigy attack Morgan backstage. They don't have to show the attack but instead have her lying on the ground as is usually done, like with Bayley's attack ahead of WrestleMania 41. Officials could also opt to have Raquel turn on her for abandoning her as the champions. This would have her first feud ready and waiting for when she's completely healed. Since she should relinquish the WWE Tag Team titles on Raw, Morgan may be given an in-ring promo segment due to her dominating the division over the last year. Morgan could do several things, like wish the group well and claim she'll be watching from the sidelines each week. She could also relinquish her titles along with Rodriguez. Despite all of her actions as an agent of chaos with the Judgment Day, a good portion of the fans still cheer for Morgan, as evidenced by her entrance every week. She could turn face after cutting a tearful promo on Raw. It's how everyone else reacts that could set things up for a feud when she comes back.